We begin, though, tonight with a story you simply will not see anywhere else. 360's Drew Griffin investigating the killing of a man along a road in rural Mississippi, doing something that police there have not been doing for the last 3 years. In a phrase, keeping them honest. The killing was a hit and run. Drew uncovered it while investigating another hit and run in the same county involving the very same authorities. Now, in that case, the victim, an African-American man, was allegedly targeted by a car with 3 white kids in it. One of them, the driver, was charged with murder, but despite the circumstances, authorities did not pursue hate crime charges. And while investigating that case, Drew learned of an earlier one, also involving an African-American man. Another killing, another potential murder, another possible hate crime. Only this time, those same authorities did not even see fit to investigate. Not for more than 3 whole years. Not until Drew Griffin began asking questions did they even try and find out what happened. They didn't even try. Drew Griffin did.
The cross is so far off the road you might never notice it unless you were looking for it. Ruby Burdett never misses it. She put it here 3.5 years ago to mark the spot her son died, and a mystery began.
But they know he was hit by a car.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Did they ever find who drove that car?
No.
Do you feel that they did an adequate investigation to find who did that?
No, I can't say because they say they still investigating. I don't know. No one relates to me anything.
They're still investigating?
Yeah.
Garrick Burdett was 41. He walked wherever he went. In rural Panola County, that can be dangerous, especially if you are black. In November of 2009, Burdett's body was found on this site. The autopsy revealed multiple injuries consistent with being hit by a vehicle. For 3 years, there's been nothing more than this simple 1-page incident report about what happened. No one in the Panola County Sheriff's Department ever bothered to do anything else.
Did they ever come up and down these streets handing out flyers, knocking on doors, asking people if they've seen anything?
No, not over this way.
Do you know of any activity that way?
No, no one said anything.
So how do you know they're investigating?
Well, they had put it on the paper, you know, when they found him dead. And then they had put on that, and then they wrote it in the newspaper. They said it was still being investigated.
Ruby Burdett's hope rests in this one small news article from 3 years ago that says police are still investigating. CNN has learned they never really have.
Never had a case turned into us.
In January, we asked the district attorney who covers Panola County to search his records to find out if anyone from the sheriff's office had contacted him regarding Garrett Burdett's killing. There was nothing.
Which means one of two things. Either it ended up being an accident, which we would not have had, or they never found the person that did it.
What blacks in this rural Mississippi county believe is that law enforcement treat crimes and investigations differently depending on the color of the victim's skin. Last summer in rural Panola County, Johnny Lee Butts, a 61-year-old black man walking far off the shoulder of this road, was deliberately run over and killed by a car carrying 3 white teens. The driver told police he thought he hit a deer. His 2 passengers both say the 18-year-old driver steered straight for him. The driver's charged with murder. The DA, though, says there's no evidence to suggest a racial motive. Johnny Butt's brother says the white local law enforcement simply don't want to know the truth.
Do you believe that the sheriff and the district attorney either don't want to or are afraid to know the truth?
I actually think they don't want to. They don't want to push that issue.
They don't want to push race.
Yep, I actually believe that they don't want to push that issue.
That belief was confirmed to Fred Butts just days after his brother's death and literally just around the corner. These 4 boys walking on the side of this road say they watched as a white Jeep with 2 white men barreled over the top of the hill, increased speed, and aimed right at them.
And they were laughing when they passed by?
Yes, sir.
And just kept going?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Scared you, huh?
Yes, sir.
Parents reported it to the police. No follow-up ever took place. When we tried to reach Sheriff Dennis Darby in January about the boys' claims, the sheriff told us not to, quote, stir up trouble in his county, adding, "You do something with this, and I'll be coming after you." The Panola County Sheriff's Department refuses to talk to us about this case as well. But we can tell you 3.5 years later, the hit-and-run death of Garrett Burdett remains unsolved. And as far as we can tell, for 3.5 years, this Sheriff's Department has done very little to find out what happened.
Has anybody from the Sheriff's Office, investigators, DA's office, been in contact with you?
No,
Never.
never. Never.
Never came to ask if your son had any enemies, any problems with anybody?
No. Nothing.
And how can you say they're still investigating?
I'm just going by what that paper, what the papers say.
Last month, CNN again tried to ask the Panola County Sheriff's Department about the unsolved hit-and-run death of Ruby's son. This time we advised the Sheriff's Department CNN would be airing this report. And again, we got no response. But hours later, Ruby Burdett did.
He came in, he said he was an investigator. He introduced himself. We sat at the dining room table, and he started talking. He told me he apologized for no one coming out before now. And he told me that the first investigators they had didn't do anything. He said he was the one that he hoped, to see this thing come to an end. He said he would, if anyone could be found, he was gonna find them.
She doesn't know why now, why it took so long, and why for 3.5 years no one in the Sheriff's Department seemed to care that a black man was run over and killed. But all that time, this grieving mother has held on to a newspaper article hoping one day its story would be true.
I just want it to be over. I just want to know. It's just like eating away with me, just eating away with me. But being a mother, I want the truth to come out.
True. It's incredible how trusting this mom is, and for 3 years she's been waiting based on a newspaper article, and this police officer shows up and said, oh yeah, you know what? No one's investigated, and I'm sorry this is the first time we're coming out to visit you 3 years after her son has been killed. Are they going to be able to find out what happened? I mean, it's been 3 years.
Anderson, I'll be honest with you. If you talk to anybody, professional law enforcement investigator, they will tell you the time to investigate a crime is right after it happens, when there's evidence, when the memories of witnesses are fresh. This is not like a cold case being reopened and a witness list. This is a case starting almost from scratch 3.5 years after it happened. The sheriff won't talk to us, so I don't know what kind of manpower he's throwing at this, but at least now they are, according to the people we've been talking to, asking questions that may get some answers. But again, 3.5 years.
And did I hear your report right, that the sheriff said that if you're stirring up trouble, he's going to come after you?
That's exactly what he said. He said that to Scott Bronstein, our producer. We couldn't believe it. Scott took down the notes. It was the sheriff himself. It was really an odd statement to make. But that's the sheriff, Sheriff Darby, and basically was accusing us of stirring up trouble in his county.
What does that even mean, stirring up trouble? I mean, seriously, what century is this guy living in? About the case that initially brought you to the county, the actual hit-and-run killing of a 61-year-old African-American man by 3 white teens, what's new in that case?
That case remains. It's a murder case. The 18-year-old white driver is charged with murder, but not with the additional hate crime that could bring a stiffer sentence in the state of Mississippi. His 2 passengers who have been cooperating with law enforcement are not charged with anything, Anderson, and that trial should take place sometime later this year, if it goes to trial.